Welcome to this episode of Groundspeak. My name is Aishani Jaiswal, and I'm a program and research assistant here at Asian Confluence. Today, I'm joined by Andrea, and she's going to talk about her venture, Tribal Adventure Tour Northeast, and we'll learn more about her business and her business idea. Groundspeak is a platform for those voices who primarily remain unheard and uncalled for, and hence it seeks to bring out a bottom up narrative and establish a new normal wherein the realities of the ground become the fundamental base for discussions and deliberations on grander stages. Through Groundspeak, Asian Confluence wants to acknowledge the situation and the status of these individuals who form such an important part of our community. So, Andrea, could you please tell us more about you and your venture and how did you come upon this idea?
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. I get this opportunity to talk about the challenges faced by the business landscape in the Northeast. I am Andrea, and our venture is Tribal Adventure Tour Northeast. So we are a homegrown company which solely focus on responsible and sustainable tourism.
Right.
Uh, Actually, the seat of inception started was just a mere thought actually at first. So during the last 2 years we were on ground on tour. While we were on the field, we saw a gaping divide between what is and what should be.
Hmm.
So because there's a lot of untapped potential. It's just an
Hmm.
already existing treasure is already there, just
Right.
trophy untapped and waiting to be catered in the correct form. And we act as a medium for like, because there has been a lot of misinformation and misrepresentation of the tourism in the region as well. So we're
Hmm.
here to bridge that gap, also on the communication scale, on a global scale, I would say.
Right.
And and that thought culminated into action. And that thought culminated into action, and that's why we're here, and we took it upon ourselves like to do just that.
Right. So, could you tell us more about your business model and how exactly do the tours work?
Okay, so a business model was like first like is the inflow of the tourists and all, and we have the inflow of the tourists, and here we cater to accommodation, not only accommodation but then the sightseeing, the short stops. We mostly also on food tourism, cultural,
Hmm.
and just showcasing, because Northeast has a very diverse in culture and food and also a lot of unexplored places.
Right. Right. So,
Our main stakeholders are the residents in the village.
hmm.
That's it.
So it's like a more like a holistic experience
Yes,
rather
yes,
than
exactly.
just sightseeing as tourists. It's actually getting to know the community and the cultures. Is that
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would you describe the current scenario of business in your region, and what have been some of the biggest advantages of doing the business in Meghalaya?
Like everyone else, the COVID situation has affected us as well. But things are going back to normal gradually.
Right.
I would say the biggest advantage, I would say, is the natural resources, the landscapes, and also other factors may include like the willingness of the local community to participate, in any capacity that they can.
Right, right. So that's what I like about your venture and the stuff that I have read about it is that it's not just limited to just you and your company taking these people out on tours. It's involving the community as a whole.
Yes.
So that's something that stood out to me, and this is extremely new, and this would provide an opportunity to people who are not from the Northeast to actually experience the Northeast and have
Yes.
like an experiential tour rather than just like visiting the Taj Mahal, for example, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting business model. So, how do you think that the Northeast has developed in the last decade or so, and what are some of the disadvantages of being a business owner here?
With advent of internet and modern technology, the world has become a much smaller place, which makes it quite easier to network.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a larger awareness of brands and products that are there. So like we can partner with whom we can partner with whom, like just doing the same things that we're doing. And also the biggest advantage I would say is that lack of air connectivity in most parts of our region. And also goods trains do not reach into the most interior parts of our region, which makes holistic a major hurdle.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there are a lot of logistical issues there as well in terms of, the roads are not great, or like there's
Yeah, yeah.
connectivity issues in a lot of places. So which I think there's a problem in terms of the digital output that has been given to the Northeast, and it lacks when you compare it to the rest of India.
It's quite bad, I would say, like for tourists, because not all tourists who come here would be adventurous enough, to go
Mhm.
off road and all. Some would just like to come here and then like just explore the place and all.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
also one of the
definitely.
biggest disadvantages.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the major hurdles, for example, access to finance or market or network mentors for women doing business in the Northeast region? You being a woman, I'm sure, like your experience, you must know that some of the major hurdles that are being faced by women in the Northeast.
So, firstly, I would say that the societal pressure mainly, because like we're born and brought up, and then the system has created in a mindset like a women belong in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A woman, be it the mother, sister, or wife, they just belong in the kitchen, and also lack of investor. Lack
Mm-hmm.
of investor, because if they knew that a woman is doing business, the investors will have a second thought or a doubt, like how to invest in a woman, because mostly men are doing that. So I would say that's not fair,
Right.
because if and also safety, if safety can be guaranteed for women, I think most women can come up, more women will can be entrepreneur, can
Yeah.
come up with ideas and innovations and all. And also I would say lack of workshops and vocational training.
Hmm. I think vocational training is somewhere where we, as a think tank that's based out of Northeast, where we're trying to provide as much of an assistance that we can in terms of whether it be AWE or the ground speaks that we are doing. So yeah, so like it's a thing, like for sure that mentorship, there's a lack of mentorship programs, and there's a lack of vocational training as well, which somehow, even if these trainings do exist, they get limited to a certain group of people who are already very well established. It's not a lot of these programs don't really cater to people who are extremely, on the ground, and who are just trying to get their business up and running. So people from the ideation stages, as we would call it. um, so what kind of livelihood generation is your business leading to, and are you employing women and engaging women in your enterprise?
Our main objective is to empower the rural masses, like giving training or awareness program to the rural community, and also employing them in task specific openings. And yes, we do employ women in our enterprise, because women are very integral part of the industry as well.
Right, right. So what sort of jobs do women do at that Northeast?
That not is some because uh, women are also can do a lot of things. So some like to hike up, some women like to hike up, and then some women like to go trek on a mountain bike, and then some just like to go
Mm.
kayaking. And then they just showing that women empowerment, that women can do this too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we also have
yeah. Creating a safe space of sorts for them. Yeah.
and we also have an all-female tour, which will the leader will also be a female, and we'll go on mountain bikes, and then we'll do activities, and then we'll go hiking, kayaking, boating, horse riding. You know,
That sounds wonderful. That sounds extremely wonderful. So, since the work that you do is completely on the ground, so what are some of the interesting instances you could tell us about from your tours? Is something that you would like to share with us?
you know. 2 years on the I've been on the ground on the field. We as a team, like we went to a lot of different places. I mean, the offbeat places, I would say. Like
Mm.
even us locals who are born and brought up here never knew that this place existed, you know. And also there's a lot. So tourism being the medium, because there's a lot of hidden talent. Like there's just talent of pool is in abundance. I would say, and
Right.
it's just that tourism, we here to gap that bridge, you know. We're here to gap that bridge by bringing tourism as the medium.
Mhm.
And also while we on tour, we met a lot of interesting people as well, because there are lack of written information about the history of the village and all. So we have this people who knows about the history and how it came into being, you know. And it was really an eye opener for us.
I can imagine that because when you yourself being from the place, when you know something new about the place, I can imagine that that must have been quite the shock and quite the surprise, and that's very invaluable information as well, I think, and that's something that you would treasure as well. So you've at length talked about how your experience as a woman has been different from your male peers, but would you think that the landscape, like the tourism landscape, is still very largely male dominated?
I would say, like, to some extent, there are some experience that has helped me as a woman, but being a male has its own advantages, you know. But all in all, I would say that there's not been any such differences.
Oh, that's really great to hear that that you don't see a difference there because mostly the ground speaks that I have done, there have been people who've straight up called out people who have not who've just gone ahead and made their lives difficult in terms of trying to do their business, which is in a largely male dominated landscape. So it's really great to hear that, Andrea. So since
Also,
the
can I just also, like, because I'm privileged enough, I would say, like, to have a team, you know,
mm,
because the team, there are mostly men here, mostly men in the team. But then I don't see any differences, because they help me grow as a woman. They teach me a lot of things, and I learn a lot from them as well. So I don't see any such differences, you know.
That's
So
that's
that's
wonderful to hear. That's wonderful to hear, Andrea. In the last year, the tourism sector has taken a complete nosedive. So, how has COVID-19 affected your business, and what are some of so when did TAT Northeast get established? What year did you begin it?
Uh, we started, actually, we are a homegrown company. So we started in early 2019. So for the past 2 years, we've just been doing research and development.
Okay, so how
And,
did COVID-19 affect the business?
you know, as a travel and tour operator, the worldwide travel restrictions has like an adverse effect on the tourism industry, you know, as a whole, because also all stakeholders are reeling in from this setback.
Hmm.
So the need of the hour, I would say, is for more regulated, systematic, and transparent work body. You know, that, like, to see to it that there shall be no exploitation of human resources and other expendable resources.
Right. So, did you have to within the while the pandemic was taking place, did you have more time to do research and development? Did you have to lay off people? What did you generate any income during the time? What was it like?
It was hard talking if from income. It was quite hard during the lockdown, because mainly, like I mentioned, we are a tour and travel company. So during the lockdown, the first few months of the lockdown, and it's fully restricted, so we just
Mhm.
staying at home and just doing research online and like that. So as soon as it's quite settled down, so we went back on the field to do some research and,
You're
have.
taking into track the COVID-19 guidelines and social distancing guidelines. All of that is being taken on board by the company.
Yes. Like we follow all COVID-19 protocols.
That's that's very great to hear because it's still, the scare is still out there, even though India is seeing very low numbers right now. I think it's important to understand that it can spike at any given moment, and we just, what we have to do is just be prepared for all of that. What are some of the
Uh,
changes and
uh,
innovations? Would you, sorry, continue?
I just want to add in something, and also because due to the pandemic, we have people there in the rural village. They are scared because while we're bringing tourists and all, So right
Hmm.
now they're slowly starting to open up again to tourism.
Right. What are some of the innovations and changes you would like to see in the coming future in the way that the business community functions in the Northeast?
Uh, I would say the utmost concern is for the safety of women. If this can be guaranteed, I think there are a lot more women entrepreneurs just waiting to be like, just waiting to come out with their new ideas and innovations. And it would be fair to say that if the government, from the government side, if they advertise more frequently about the various schemes and policies opening, likewise, even the private sector should give more interest to women-oriented, viable commercial activities, and also, like I already said, the vast talent pool that is already abundance in our region.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any specific schemes or policies that you would like to see from the government and the private sector?
I would say schemes and policies, like, because there are a lot of women here who, making this, we have this one woman. Okay, she's very talented. She's from Ribhoy district, and then she make this rindia is, it's a traditional wear. It's a traditional wear, and she made it out of silkworm. And they made bamboo jewelry and bamboo earrings, and also they make earrings out of this cocoon. And also, if the government could take a small initiative just to see to it that there are people like this, so it would be fair.
Right. So I think the idea is to amplify the voices, right? Like that there needs to be programs that publicize and put these local artisans up to a national or an international level. And I completely understand that. Um, but that's it for the interview. Before we go, is there anything else you would like to talk about?
um, yeah, if one day if you ever plan to come to Meghalaya, please don't hesitate to call me. I can
Definitely,
guarantee you,
we are
I
going
can
to be there
guarantee
for
you you'll get,
the,
I can
sorry.
guarantee you you'll have the best experience here. And if you ever been to Meghalaya, this time you'll see a different perspective for Meghalaya.
That's thank you for the invitation. We're definitely, our team is going to be there for the our program eventually. Once things are a little more calmer, we are going to be there for the program, and I hope to meet you, and I hope to experience Meghalaya the way that TAT Northeast wants me to experience Meghalaya. So thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us for this interview. We hope that your venture is extremely successful and you continue to be associated with us. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Thank you.